Hey guys, it's time to finally start breaking down some of the reported patch changes coming to Street Fighter V Arcade Edition, kind of like this little sneak peek from the recent PlayStation Experience event. So first off, this took me a really long time for me to organize, and collect all the information I could. I didn't personally attend the PSX, so shoutouts, of course, to everyone that collected footage and tweeted out information with the limited time that they had. And I made sure to put a link to all the sources that I got this from. And if I missed anyone, please let me know, and of course I'll add it to the list. It's in the video description below. So I should point out that, of course, some of this might not be true. Of course, this is hearsay because, once again, I wasn't there to test this out myself. And I mean, like last year, we got so many faulty reports. And on top of all of this, Capcom has confirmed that players were not playing the latest version of Arcade Edition, so that means they could still be adding stuff, and it's just, yeah, there's still changes to be done, and it's obviously not the final build. So with all that out of the way, let's talk about the universal changes that I've seen consistent with a lot of the characters. Okay, so the first thing we should talk about is throw loops. So for the most part, it seems that this is removed across the cast. At least the majority of them. This is a big change. So characters such as Ken, which we've seen early footage of, Gao's back throw, Nikali, Cain, Rashid, Akuma, all their throw loops are gone. So I'm sure other characters have lost their throw loops as well. So what this change is going to do is, first off, it's going to give a lot of the characters with poor defensive options more of a fighting chance when they're in the corner. And also prevent, a near checkmate scenario as well, where the match could just snowball out of the control, where you're seeing players getting thrown like 4 or 5 times in a row, and then finally they're dizzy and they're dead. The corner should always be rewarding. Let's not forget that. It should be rewarding, but not to this extreme, especially when there's some characters with no 3-frame normals, or reversals for that matter, such as poor Alex, or even Nash. I'm sure most players will be happy for this change about no throw loops in general because it's one of the requested changes. But of course, on top of this, people want more defensive mechanics as well. Now, the second thing a lot of players notice is there seems to be a lot more recovery on command grabs from grapplers. So it seemed to be possible to literally just jump back and avoid a command grab and still have time to easily punish them on whiff when they're recovering. So it seems invincibility has still not returned to Dragon Punch type attacks. This might be some kind of compromise or alternative to Capcom without actually returning that invincibility back. They understand that there is quite a bit of 50-50 situations in Street Fighter V, and they want to make it more risky for grapplers, it seems, when they guess wrong against, the entire cast, rather than just the characters that have these DP type attacks. They want some kind of universal way so everyone can punish them. And there's actually a lot of setups being used right now where, for example, Zangief or Lara players will do a normal throw instead of a command grab, and it can use this kind of like an option select because normal throws recover faster to punish you when you're neutral jumping, for example, when you anticipate a command grab, and they can still punish you. Even Alex can do it. That's still there. But landing a normal throw, of course, is not as rewarding compared to a command grab where you can get more Oki from that and it just kind of snowballs. So we're going to have to wait and see if this is completely universal nerf and by how much, and then kind of go from there. So we're seeing throw loops being removed so far, command grabs, more recovery. Like, once again, it's like Capcom's figuring out ways to not give invincibility back to the DP type attacks, but they're finding ways to give characters more options when they're defending against these weird situations. Finally, Nikali, one of the game's biggest offenders to the classic standing light punch anti-airs, has been reported to be nerfed. It doesn't seem to work well at all anymore. So this has been nerfed before, apparently, in Season 2, the standing light punch, but obviously it wasn't enough, and now it seems Capcom made sure to nerf it for good in Season 3. With that being said, it's possible Capcom went after the other characters and just players haven't been able to test it on the other ones. We have also seen an evolution to the standing light punch anti-air, which is now crouching light punch anti-airs with Gao players such as Daigo using it, and even M Bison players are using their crouching light punch as anti-airs as well. So we'll see if this is actually a universal change in Season 3, and hopefully Capcom has paid attention to those light attacks as well. Okay, moving on, let's talk about the characters now. So let's start off with Ryu, of course, since he received a very requested new special move, which is, of course, his donkey kick, if you guys haven't heard by now. Now, be careful what you wish for, because there has been quite a bit of criticism from players on the actual animation of the move. Something seems a bit off, and I do agree with this. Ryu doesn't really animate well when he's moving into his kick to give it that, you know, oomph like we see in Street Fighter 3. It's also possible that Capcom is just simply not finished with the move and they're going to improve the animation as we go on. But yeah, a lot of people talk about it. Anyways, let's talk about the move itself. So first off, to do this move, it is with quarter circle forward and kick. We can tell this from the new move list. It shows us. Now when you actually land Ryu's donkey kick, the knockback is really far. It knocks the opponent like full screen. It builds a ton of space. This could be used offensively or defensively, because if you're full screen, you can just zone out your opponent and gain a ton of real estate, or you can throw like a meaty light fireball and then dash in and use it aggressively. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do with that. Now the EX version causes a wall bounce like it should, and can lead into a juggle with either a normal or a special attack. We see from the footage that you can do a hard punch DP, or you can do like a crouching medium punch and reset. Hopefully there are reset like things that people are going to find from the juggle, you know, such as like a crouching light punch, and see if you can reset it from that way, or maybe an overhead or something just to add more depth to the move. Now, the normal and EX versions look very punishable on block. This is not something you can just mindlessly throw out as a poke. It's got to be at least -6, because we see the other Ryu player punish it with a crouching hard punch. Now, this is including the EX version as well. Now, this doesn't seem to combo from lights. This is something that you're going to start off at least with mediums. Now, speaking of which, one of the strengths is crouching medium kick. You can use the combo into it. I don't know what strength of the donkey kick it is, though. It might be like the light version. It also does hit crouching opponents, which is really important because Ryu doesn't have good options for hitting crouching opponents in his combos, and he has to basically force them to stand with like crouching hard punch, for example. So before, Ryu players had to use like a fireball, EX Tatsu, because normal Tatsu will go right over. So this gives a great alternative for Ryu players, good option. The EX version allows some great damage that we can see, and a lot of stun off a single bar. If you land a jump in with Ryu, it's really gonna hurt, and it already hurt before. Especially if you have V-trigger up. Now, the normal and EX versions combo from a crouching hard punch, standing hard punch if you're in V-trigger 1, back hard kick, and even an anti-air back hard kick all convert into the donkey kick, all the strengths in the EX version, which is really nice. I would like to see if they have enough time to do the EX version of his donkey kick after you land the parry counter attack in his V-trigger 2. That'd be a huge punish. So basically, parry counter, they're crumpled on the ground, EX donkey kick into an uppercut that do a lot of damage. So hopefully that's something that I can test when the game comes out. Yeah, so another thing I noticed besides the donkey kick, now just talking about Ryu stuff, is Ryu can also cancel his EX Hadouken, his fireball, into V-trigger now. Really interesting. So it seems like the Ryu player tries to do an uppercut after. It doesn't quite seem to have like a juggle property, but I'm sure an EX version probably would work. This gives Ryu just more ways to convert into V-trigger in general. I wonder if it's even a normal fireball. That'd be sick. But EX fireball right now for Ryu is already +2 on block, so I'd imagine he'd be super plus after he cancels it into V-trigger. Now, there's also a small mystery going around regarding Ryu's new move list. If you take a look at it for Season 3, where it shows in his move list that his forward medium punch and forward hard punch, so his overhead and the solar plexus strike, are somehow affected by his V-trigger 1. So really strange. It shows the V-trigger symbol there, so maybe it's just like added stun or something. Some people are saying crazy stuff like maybe you can cancel from his overhead. I highly doubt it, but there seems to be some kind of benefit of landing those moves in V-trigger 1, and I'm interested to see the changes of V-trigger 1 to make sure it doesn't drain as much. That would be nice. So let's wrap this up for now, guys. Of course, I have more patch stuff to report. We'll do it in our next video. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of all these changes. Are you happy with it so far, especially with Ryu? And if you guys are wondering when the official patch notes are coming out, because I wanted to know as well, Capcom has said it's coming out in January, so probably won't be till the launch of the game, which would kind of suck. You know, they should release it now so I can start working on it, because that's going to be a lot of work to do. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, guys. Of course, I'll be paying really close attention to Arcade Edition, and please like the video. It helps out. So till next time, guys, take care.